हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू एडुटैप। आई एम तनुश्री। तो स्टूडेंट्स, जैसा कि हम जानते हैं कि प्रीवियस ईयर पेपर्स किसी भी एग्जाम को रैशनली और कॉम्प्रिहेंसिवली प्रिपेयर करने के लिए हमारी गाइडिंग लाइट्स होते हैं। इसी बात को ध्यान में रखते हुए और क्योंकि हमारा नबार्ड ग्रेड फेज 2 एग्जाम भी पास आ रहा है, तो हमने ये वीडियो बनाया। इस वीडियो के अंदर हम 2024 का जो नबार्ड ग्रेड फेज 2 का पेपर था, उस पूरे पेपर को यहाँ पर डिस्कस करेंगे। तो ये वीडियो थोड़ा सा लेंदी हो सकता है, बट दिस इज गोइंग टू बी एन एक्सट्रीमली हेल्पफुल वीडियो फॉर यू. And students, before I start this video, if you're interested in having any paid mentorship for your NABARD Grade A examination of 2025, then you can enroll in our NABARD Grade A Phase 2 Live Plus recorded crash course. As part of this crash course, we are going to provide you the live classes to solve previous year question, chapter-wise test, full-length mock test, and the chapter-wise fodder material along with the model question and answers. Apart from that, students, there is a NABARD Grade A Phase 2 test series also, and as part of that test series, we are going to provide you the solved previous year questions, chapter-wise mock test, current affair mock test, and the full-length mock test. So if you're interested, you can check out our website, and this is the right time to do so because currently we are running a flat 77% off on all our NABARD Grade A courses. You can use the code New Year 77. This offer, it is valid from 29th of December till 31st of December. On this note, let us begin our today's session.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So my dear aspirants, I welcome you all in this 2025 and I hope that you've started your preparations all along, and preparing for descriptive English is an integral part of that journey. See guys, you don't have to just prepare for phase 1. You also have to start preparing for phase 2, which is the descriptive part, wherein you have two papers, descriptive English, and the other paper is your ARD and ESI paper. So descriptive English is a game changer in this exam, and this really benefits a lot all the aspirants every year. So if you prepare well for English, you can consider half of your work is already done, and that is why I've brought this video for you. In this session we will be analyzing, we will be discussing what questions were asked in the year 2024 and what could be a sample solution, or you can say a solution for those questions. I've also provided that, so you can download the PDF from our Telegram channel and use it for your preparation. It is also provided on our website as well, but you can also get it from the Telegram channel. The link is given in the description of the video, and it a lot, right? So let's talk about the first question that was asked to the students. The first question is essay writing. See guys, essay writing is the biggest chunk of this paper because you have to, this is the bulkiest part, because in Pressy you only have to write 150 or 170 words. In similarly in letter you have to write either 120 or maybe 150 words, but essay, this is the biggest chunk of the paper where you are asked to write your essay in 500 to 520 words, and you have to create everything on your own. See, for Pressy you will be given a passage for reference, right? For letter you will be given a scenario, but for essay you have to think of everything on your own right there in the exam. So the first topic, which was essay writing, so let's understand the four choices that were given. So you were asked to write an essay of about 500 to 520 words on any one of the following topics. So you have to choose one topic and then you have to articulate your essay. You have to provide your thesis on that topic. So the weightage of essay is 40 marks. So let's look at the topics now. First topic is, how can youth contribute to India's progress in education, entrepreneurship and social initiatives? So the contribution of youth in education, entrepreneurship and social initiatives. So I can I think segregate it under a topic under economic and social issues. Yes. Second topic was, how access to credit increases sustainable farming practices in India. This can be put under agriculture and rural development, ARD, right? So access to credit increases sustainable farming, and not just credit. I think it should be formal credit through proper banking channels, not money launderers or middlemen, right? Third is integrating fish culture with agriculture crops enhances productivity and farmers' income. So we had to discuss that. Again, this topic was based on agriculture and rural development. Definitely integrating fish culture, pisciculture जिसको हम बोलते हैं. So integrating pisciculture या fish culture with agriculture crops enhances productivity and farmers' income. And fourth was, look deep. This was a static topic, guys. This was a quotation from Albert Einstein. Look deep into nature, and then you will start to understand everything better. It's related to not agriculture but nature. But it was, it was a implicit statement that you need to understand, that if you integrate yourself with nature, you start to understand everything in a better way, right? You can't look at nature in a as a materialistic need, or it's just for your consumption. Nature is the ecosystem that we survive in, right? So all that had to be written there. So that was the so these were the four topics that were given to the aspirants during the exam. Now guys, please do let me know in the chat comment section of the video, in the chat window, that which topic would you choose. If let's say you were in the exam today, right? If you were in the exam and you were supposed to take this essay, which topic would you choose? Just would you choose to write on? Just tell me the topic number 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let's understand the psychology behind your choice, so that I can better further help you, that okay, if this topic is actually an good topic to write on, or should you have chosen anything else, right? So do let me know your choice in the comment section of the video. So these were the four essays that were given. I have provided you sample answers for all these essays. For example, for question number 1, how can youth contribute to India's progress in education, entrepreneurship and social initiatives? So you start with the background. We have a high demographic dividend, right? And we can use this dividend for the betterment of the country, to achieve the dream of becoming a developed economy by 2047. Then you can talk that how young people can contribute in education. Then second, it could be about digital technology, entrepreneurship. Then you can talk about, see, every paragraph will discuss everything in a clear way. See, first paragraph, body paragraph is education. Second, it's about digital technology. Third, it's about entrepreneurship. Fourth is again continuity of entrepreneurship. Then youth involvement in social initiatives. Furthermore, youth-led organizations like Youth for Seva or Dan Utsav. And then you could have given a conclusion: India possesses immense potential and can contribute to nation progress a lot. Second, how access to credit increases sustainable farming practices in India. Again, you provide background of the current situation, the predominant situation in the country, marginalized farming, and very low access to financial services. So that is another big challenge in the country. You could give some data towards it. Then how access credit facilitates the investment. Additional to technology, access to technology also improves with this. Credit improves farmers diversity to grow several crops and avoid monocropping. Then access to credit enables funding for training programs. Then challenges are there, but we need to fight those challenges, and we can come out as a winner in the situation. Third, integrating fish culture with agriculture crops enhances productivity and farmers' income. I don't know much about fish culture, but you can read this essay and understand how integration of fish culture with agricultural crops, right, increases productivity. Let's say tomorrow they ask you how genetically modified crops can revolutionize, or how integration of GM crops with natural crops can revolutionize the food security of the world and the country, right? Something like this. So the in-depth knowledge of a topic and how to present that topic, that is quite important in in such exams, right? So you can read the essay. I've provided you sample essays, and then again for topic, look deep into the nature, and then you will start to understand everything better. You also, what could we write on such a topic? I have also given that. So look deep into the nature. It will tell you and everything. It reflects a profound connection between humanity and the natural world, as I told you. At its core, the quote suggests that nature is not merely a backdrop to human existence, but a rich source of wisdom and knowledge as well, right? Then scientific perspective, you can talk about philosophical angle there, then emotional and psychological benefits of connecting with nature, and then what the quote underscores, the ethical imperative of environmental stewardship. So that was all about your static topic. You can read this answer and see, okay, this could be a a template answer for such questions, right? So you can conclude it by giving a positive way forward, and then look deep into the nature, connect yourself with the nature, so that we can integrate and we can save nature and all that, right? So these are the four essays that were asked to the aspirants. Let's come to the second question, guys. Précis writing. The topic, the title, main title of the passage was, there was a case study of Ethiopia's rainwater harvesting crisis, right? So this was a case study, and that was the passage that was given to the aspirants, and they had to make a 120, just 120 word précis, which is worth 30 marks. So this is a good scoring question here. You can 120 words is not even 10 sentences, guys. And if you score 30 marks because just for 10 good sentences, I think that becomes a very scoring part itself. So you can read the whole passage, that what was the harvesting crisis there, what was the problem, what are the problems, then what are the issues that the governments and stakeholders were facing, and then you could make a 120 simple 120 word Pressy like this. You have to give a title to the Pressy: addressing water scarcity in Ethiopia, the shift to rainwater harvesting. And you could read the Pressy: Ethiopia is increasingly adopting alternative water resources, particularly rainwater harvesting, to combat widespread water scarcity. Many people lack access to clean drinking water, and traditional sources are often contaminated or unreliable due to droughts. To address this, the Ministry of Water and Energy has launched initiatives that have significantly improved access to clean water for millions. Fourth, three sentences. While both rainwater and pond harvesting are explored, studies indicate that rooftop water harvesting is more suitable for the country's geography. Five sentences. This method not only enhances accessibility but also promotes health and sustainability. Six sentences. And last, so seven sentences, you can make a good Pressy, 120 word Pressy. Overall, integrating rainwater harvesting into water management strategies is crucial for ensuring clean and reliable water sources for Ethiopia's growing population. So that becomes a good Pressy. So Pressy is a very easy, if you learn how to actually do it, it becomes very easy and very scoring part for you. Now coming to the third question, guys. Now this was something very challenging. The word limit for letter in the year was given 220 words. So it was supposedly a very big letter. Even compared to Pressy, it was 100 words more than the Pressy, right? So there were three topics given to the students. First was write a letter to municipal corporation of your city regarding poor conditions of roads in your locality. So this was a formal letter. Second was write a grievance letter to a faulty for a faulty piece of electronic device delivered to you. Again, this is a grievance letter, formal letter. And third was write a letter to the in-house editor for extension of timeline for completing an article due to clash of task. Again, formal letter. So all the three choices that were given to the students were formal letters. And I think all the situations are fairly simple if you have practiced letter writing. A grievance letter is very common. Then any complaint letter regarding poor conditions, dilapidated conditions of your roads in the city. So these are very basic letters. And third, in-house writing, in-house editor for requesting for extension of timeline. This is something that you can look into. I've provided you sample answers for all the three here, guys. You start with your sender's address, then date, then receiver's address, then subject line, then opening salutation, then introduction paragraph, body paragraphs, then conclusion paragraph, closing salutation, your name, your contact number, your locality. So these are the 10-step format, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the 10-step letter format that you need to follow in your formal letters in the exam. Similarly, for your regarding faulty grievance letter regarding faulty electronic device, you start with sender's address, date, receiver's address, subject line, opening salutation. Then you give out the brief details of the purpose of writing this letter in the introduction paragraph. Then you discuss the whole scenario in detail in the body paragraphs. Then you write a conclusion paragraph, your closing salutation, and your name and your details. Similarly, third, your in-house request for extension deadline. Again, you start with, I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to request an extension for the submission of my article titled this is this, due on this date. Unfortunately, I've encountered unexpected clash of tasks. You can give out the details. When will you be able to, submit your article, and then you closing request, your closing salutation, and your name and your details if required. So NABARD
Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. We all know that previous year papers play a very important role with respect to the preparation for any examination including NABARD Grade A. So as a part of this session, we are going to analyze the NABARD Grade A 2024 previous year paper. It will help us to understand the difficulty level, and we will also use this paper to understand that how we can optimize our strategy with respect to NABARD Grade A 2025. Back to the video. Let us talk about this previous year paper, and before we begin that, let me tell you the main objective. The main objective is basically to tell you that what type of content you could have written in an organized manner. Fine. And secondly, very importantly, what was the difficulty level of this question, and how we are going to analyze the difficulty level. We will try to analyze the difficulty level by knowing the source with respect to that question. क्योंकि अगर क्वेश्चन का जो सोर्स है वो बहुत ही कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है, अगर कुछ न्यूज में चल रहा था, बहुत ही रैंडम सोर्स है, सो ऑफ कोर्स द क्वेश्चन इज डिफिकल्ट टू हैंडल. बट if the question is very much straightforwardly from the syllabus, then I would say the job becomes easier. So we will see all these things as a part of this video, and let us move on to the question number 1. Fine. And this document, by the way, you can download this document from the Telegram channel. We are going to share it over there. So let me open the question number 1. And the question number 1 is, what are the benefits of post harvest management, value addition and supply chain development in horticultural crop? And the question is a 15 marker question. Now first of all, let us see the difficulty level. I would categorize this question as a moderate to easy type of question. And even if not easy, even if we call it moderate, because the question was a bit lengthy, you had to answer 3 type of things. The first is the benefit of post harvest management, then the value addition and the supply chain development in horticulture crops. So 3 bodies you had to create. So that's why I would say the question was a bit lengthy, but I would say the content that had to be written as a part of this question was very easy. Why is it so? Because this question straightforwardly has been asked from the syllabus. You can see I pasted a screenshot over here. This screenshot I've taken from the syllabus only, and you can see that post harvest management, value and supply चेन मैनेजमेंट ऑफ प्लांटेशन एंड हॉर्टिकल्चर क्रॉप. तो क्या ये क्वेश्चन बहुत डिफिकल्ट था आंसर करना? बिल्कुल भी नहीं. ठीक है, डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन हम उसे कहते हैं जो बहुत कुछ आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स आ जाए, जो बहुत ही अनएक्सपेक्टेड टाइप क्वेश्चन हो. बट वो क्वेश्चन जो डायरेक्टली आपसे सिलेबस से पूछा जा रहा है, वो सिलेबस का कीवर्ड्स यूज करके, दैट शुड बी एन एडवांटेज फॉर यू, not something that is difficult or challenging. So that is why I'm categorizing this question as easy to moderate level. Fine. Now if we see the model answer, now see, the purpose of this session is not to provide you knowledge कि यार horticulture crop क्या होती है, post harvest management के benefit क्या होते हैं. That is not the purpose. Because ultimately you can download this document and you can read it later on. But the main purpose is to discuss, is to analyze how you can basically structure this information. So of course, in order to answer this question, first of all, you are going to write some contribution with respect to the horticulture sector. Fine. As a part of our agriculture. So you can use any kind of data in order to justify that information. So you can see, as it is written over here, that horticulture contributes around 30% of India's agricultural GDP, with India being the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the world as per Food and Agriculture Organization 2022, FAO 2022. Now the thing is that you might feel that this information is a bit lengthy. I mean, this introduction looks a bit lengthy, but let me tell you that the document has been written by keeping in mind that so that you get a good content with respect to the answer. The word limit has not been considered as a primary criteria. So of course, when you are writing this answer in the real examination, you will have to deduct few words so that basically you can fit it into the right word limit. Fine. So that is the idea. But you can see this is the first and the foremost thing, that is the introduction, where you can write some form of data. After that, of course, 3 things have been asked. That is the benefits of post harvest management, then the value addition and the supply chain development. So of course, they are going to be 3 bodies. Fine. So the first body is going to be benefits of post harvest management, the second body is going to be benefits of value addition, and the third is going to be benefits of सप्लाई चेन डेवलपमेंट. अब एग्जाम में मुझे पता है इतने सारे पॉइंट्स नहीं आते, इतना सारा डेटा भी याद नहीं आता है, बट कोई बात नहीं. कोशिश करो कि अगर हर चीज के लिए, अगर आप 3 पॉइंट भी लिख रहे हो, हर बॉडी के लिए 3 पॉइंट भी लिख रहे हो, कोशिश करो 3 में से 2 में डेटा डाल दो, या फिर 1 में डेटा डाल दो और किसी एक में एग्जाम्पल डाल दो, बट ट्राई टू एड सम वैल्यू एडिशन. फाइन. डू नॉट राइट एन इनकम्प्लीट और आई वुड से जनरलाइज्ड वर्जन ऑफ एन आंसर. Try to make it complete by using the selective keywords. So for example, you can see according to National Horticulture Board, India loses close to rupees 50,000 crore annually due to post harvest losses in horticulture sector, and it is so that basically shows the benefit of post harvest management with which we can deal such a type of problem. Fine. So similar typo, you can see here we have added an example that the shelf life of mangoes can be extended, and extension of shelf life. So all such sort of things can be written, and this is how you can basically structure your answer by using the right keywords. And at the end, of course, what you can do, you can write the conclusion also, a very short and precise conclusion, and I would say try to write a futuristic conclusion, a conclusion that contains some sort of way forward, that what could be the future measures that can be taken in order to improve the horticulture sector with respect to India. So you can write something like that. Fine. And was it covered as a part of EduTap course? Yes, it was covered, though I have removed the screenshot from this because I would say that is not the primary purpose of this session, but in the original document we had pasted a screenshot too. Fine. So now let us मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. अब फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन से हमें क्या लेसन मिल रहा है कि यार सिलेबस तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ये सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट लेसन आप ले सकते हो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन से कि सिलेबस को किसी कीमत पे नहीं छोड़ना है. एक एक कीवर्ड, each and every keyword that is written as a part of the syllabus, you have to cover it. You cannot compromise with the syllabus. Fine. It is very important. It is extremely important. So please prioritize syllabus. That should be the first and the foremost priority as a part of your preparation. Let us move on to the second question and we will see what is the key takeaway with respect to this question number 2. Now, the question number 2 is, India has seen a financial inclusion transformation from 2014 to 2024. What are the key government initiatives and the outcome of their efforts? अब मैं बताता हूँ ये क्वेश्चन इजी क्यों था. ठीक है, ठीक है, कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे हो सकते हैं जिन्हें फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन के बारे में डिटेल में ना पढ़ा हो. ठीक है, वो इस क्वेश्चन को छोड़ भी सकते थे क्योंकि 4 में से 6 क्वेश्चन करने होते हैं आपको एग्जामिनेशन में. फाइन. बट if we talk about that whether you could have answered this question or not, I would say definitely yes. Why is it so? Because if you see the last year paper of 2023, a similar type of question was asked with respect to financial inclusion over there. Fine. So you can see the value of India's score in RBI's financial inclusion index has increased in 2023. In this context, discuss the challenges to financial inclusion in India. And while understanding the previous year question, what is the biggest lesson that you can take? That if a certain question has been asked from a certain theme, then you have to cover that theme in a holistic manner, so that if any question gets repeated from that certain theme or from that certain area, you are in a position to answer that question. Fine. So that is, I would say, one of the most important things that you can do, and you have to follow that approach for the 2024 paper also in order to prepare for the 2025. अब 2024 में जो क्वेश्चन पूछे गए हैं आपको उन्हें एनालाइज करना है, उन सर्टेन थीम्स को रिकॉग्नाइज करना है, एंड यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग दैट एरिया इन अ होलिस्टिक मैनर, in a proper manner, so that if here and there if the question is asked from that area, you are in a comfortable position to answer it. Fine. So you can see it over here. The question was regarding financial inclusion, and a similar type of question was asked in 2024 also, though the approach of the question is different, but I would say the theme is same. So I would say not a difficult question to answer at all. Fine. And if you are somebody who is following our YouTube initiative Perspective 360 Degree also, where we do current affair based answer writing practice, you can go and see the playlist. We had covered this question. Fine. Financial inclusion. तो ऐसा भी नहीं है कि बहुत रैंडम क्वेश्चन था, बहुत डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन था, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है, क्योंकि आप बैंक्स के बारे में, रूरल इंस्टीट्यूशंस के बारे में पढ़ते ही हो. ठीक है, एज अ पार्ट ऑफ योर प्रिपरेशन you covered this economic survey also sort of thing. So I would say if you had covered in a dedicated manner, you would have a good fodder material to answer this question. Fine. So you can see the approach with respect to this question is going to be pretty much straightforward. First of all, you're going to write something about financial inclusion. Fine. Since the question is asking about transformative shift from 2014 to 2024, so you are going to write your, I would say, introduction accordingly. After that, of course, you are going to switch to the main body, that is the key government initiatives that have been taken, and you can write them, and then you can talk about the outcomes of the financial inclusion efforts. Fine. Because the question is asking what is the key initiative and the outcome. So two things have been asked. So do not think that just because key initiatives and outcome have been asked, so you are going to create just one body and then you will write some sort of, I would say, content under it. I would say your answer would appear incomplete, because you won't be able to answer the question in a very precise manner. The demand of the question would not be completely addressed. So it is very important that you are creating two bodies. The first is initiatives that have been taken from 2014 to 2024, and what is the outcome of these efforts. Fine. So you can see this is body part 1, the key initiatives, for example, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, Aadhaar enabled payment system, Mudra Yojana, Digital India initiative, Jan Suraksha scheme, also sort of things. Then you can write the outcome. क्या उसका outcome आया? अब प्रधानमंत्री जन धन योजना आ गई तो क्या हुआ? What is the outcome? Number of banks account. Fine. So बैंक अकाउंट जो है वो इंक्रीज हो गई है. There has been increase in the bank account penetration. अब बैंक अकाउंट penetration इंक्रीज होगी तो क्या होगा? लोग अपना पैसा जमा करेंगे, फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन होगी, फाइन, people will be able to save more, fine, and it will help to it will and when more and more people are associated with the banks, what is going to happen, it becomes easier for the government to provide better delivery of the schemes such as DBT, fine, also sort of things, so the scheme targeting becomes better and it will help to reduce poverty, vulnerability, ठीक है, डिजिटल ट्रांजेक्शन बढ़ेंगी, अब बिजनेसमैन है वो भी लोन ले सकेंगे because they now they have opened their accounts, so the small businessmen are there, they can avail the loan, so that is also another outcome. So in such a similar fashion you can write different type of outcomes as a part of it, fine. You can see insurance also, empowerment of women or marginalized groups, so all these are nothing but these are the outcomes of this above initiatives. So अगर initiative एक बार लिख दिया तो खुद एक बार सोच के देखो कि यार इस initiative का क्या फायदा होगा, तो आपको खुद दिमाग में आ जाएगा, और कुछ डेटा यूज करो, कुछ एग्जांपल यूज करो and write the body part too. I hope it is clear to all of you. Fine. Now let us move on to the question number 3. अब इस क्वेश्चन से हमें क्या टेक अवे मिला? द मेन लेसन फ्रॉम दिस क्वेश्चन इज दैट प्लीज go through the previous year question before appearing for the examination, and you have to identify that from which areas what type of questions were asked, and accordingly you can prepare those areas in a holistic manner. अब मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि आपको सिर्फ वही पढ़ के जाना है, बट जो चीज़ें पढ़ के जानी है उनमें से ये एक ऐसी चीज़ है जिसको आपको ज़्यादा अच्छे से करना है, ठीक है, ताकि क्वेश्चन अगर रिपीट हो तो कोई भी ऐसा चांस ना हो कि आप उस क्वेश्चन को अच्छे से ना लिख पाओ. सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू आर एनालाइजिंग द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन, एंड ट्रस्ट मी इट विल हेल्प यू टू आंसर or to optimize your preparation in the most effective manner. Let us move on to the question number 3. अब यहाँ चलते हैं. Question number 3 is, okay, was the previous question covered by EduTap? The answer is yes, it was covered in the ESA chapter number 23 in a very precise manner. Now let us move on to question number 3. What is the institutional rural credit framework in India, and what measures can be taken by the government to improve rural credit access? अब ये कितने का है? 15 मार्कर क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है. अब 15 मार्कर क्वेश्चन है तो अच्छे से हम डिटेल में लिखेंगे, बट उसको जानने से पहले लेट अस सी दैट हाउ इन व्हाट कैटेगरी वी कैन कैटेगराइज दिस क्वेश्चन. वाज इट इजी, मॉडरेट और डिफिकल्ट? आई वुड कैटेगराइज इट अगेन अंडर द इजी टू मॉडरेट कैटेगरी. व्हाई इज इट सो? बिकॉज if you have covered the syllabus in a detailed manner, you could have easily answered this question. You can see rural banking and financial institution in India is something that is a part of the syllabus, और यही आपको इस आंसर में लिखना था, ठीक है, कि कैसे गवर्नमेंट ने डिफरेंट इनिशिएटिव्स लिए ताकि रूरल क्रेडिट एक्सेस इंप्रूव हो पाए. फाइन. फॉर एग्जांपल ओपनिंग ऑफ, आई वुड से, दिस कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स, फॉर एग्जांपल प्रमोशन ऑफ डिफरेंशिएटेड बैंक्स, फॉर एग्जांपल द स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक्स, फाइन, द पेमेंट बैंक्स, different kind of banks that are there. So you had to write these things as a part of the answer to this question. Fine. So I would again categorize it as a easy to moderate type of question, because same मंत्रा यहाँ भी फॉलो हो रहा है. कुछ ऐसा नहीं है कि आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स क्वेश्चन आ गया. अब ये मत सोचना कि यार सर तो सब कुछ इजी और मॉडरेट में डाल रहे हैं, डिफिकल्ट में कुछ डाल नहीं रहे. अब नहीं है तो मैं क्यों डालूं? मैं डिफिकल्ट में उस चीज को डालना पसंद करूंगा जो मुझे सच में लगेगा कि यार ये बहुत ही आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स है, बहुत ही अनएक्सपेक्टेड आ गया, स्टूडेंट इसको प्रिपेयर नहीं कर सकता था और बहुत चैलेंजिंग था, बट ये चीज तो डायरेक्टली सिलेबस से पूछी जा रही है. तो इट डज नॉट मेक एनी सेंस if I'm adding this question as a part of difficult level question. Fine. Now let us see the answer to this question. So since the question is asking about the institutional credit framework, fine, institutional rural credit framework, तो आप उस credit framework की importance लिख सकते हो, that what is the importance of that. So you can talk about that it acts as a backbone of the Indian economy, employing over around 55% of the workforce. Fine. And this is also another, I would say, lesson that you can take. What you can do basically, the different areas that are there as a part of the syllabus, the different components that are there, the keywords that are written as a part of the syllabus, you should try that. You should have at least 1 to 2 data points for most of them. When I say most of them, क्योंकि हर चीज के लिए डेटा कलेक्ट करना थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है, बट मैक्सिमम चीजों के लिए आप कुछ ना कुछ डेटा रखो, ठीक है. कोई भी क्वेश्चन हो, कोई भी टॉपिक आप कवर कर रहे हो, तो 1-2 डेटा याद रखो कि यार, और कुछ डेटा कुछ इस तरह का याद रखो कि जो मल्टीपल टॉपिक्स में यूज हो जाए, ठीक है. तो एक डेटा है जो टॉपिक एक्स में भी यूज हो रहा है, अगर टॉपिक वाई से भी क्वेश्चन आ जाए तो उस डेटा को वहां भी हम एडजस्ट कर सके. तो जैसे ये है कि जो रूरल the institutional rural credit framework, it employs around 55% of the workforce. If you had such type of data, you could have easily added as a part of your introduction. Then let us talk about the first part of the body, that is institutional rural credit framework in India. Then the commercial bank, rural bank, cooperative banks, fine, then NABARD, microfinance institution. ये क्या आ गया आपका first part of the body, because this is something that is asked, that what is institutional credit framework in India, what measures have been taken by the government to improve it. Fine, so you are writing that this is the institutional rural credit in India. What does it include? It include all these different type of banks, which ultimately you know that you cover it as a part of your syllabus in your rural banking. Then you can write that क्या measures लिए हैं अभी, तो measures लिख दो. Very easy to understand, fine, very easy to write. For example, Kisan Credit Scheme, then interest subvention scheme, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, then strengthening cooperative credit structure, for example, creation of the National Cooperative Development Fund, then the expansion of regional rural bank. You must have heard that very recently government amalgamated few regional rural banks also. आप चाहो तो वो भी लिख सकते हो, ठीक है, ताकि उनकी performance improve की जा सके. So different initiatives we all know taken by the government in order to improve this banking system, in order to improvise the rural credit framework. Fine. So you could have written all these initiatives as a part of it. And lastly, what does it come? You can also talk about the outcome of the government measures. So I would say this is pretty much optional, because if you don't have the space, if you don't have the time, then you can avoid it. But as I told you, that we have tried our best to make the answer holistic, so that you get a good content regarding it. Fine, so that's why we have written it. Otherwise, I would say, since this has not been asked as a part of the question, so either you could have written it in a very precise manner, in a very shortened manner, or what you could have done, you could have skipped it if the time is not in your favor. Fine, if you're running out of time. And at the end, what you can do, of course, you can write the conclusion with respect to it. So that is how you could have answered this question. And what is the key takeaway? The key takeaway is that, first of all, कि syllabus again बहुत important है, बिल्कुल इग्नोर नहीं कर सकते. सिलेबस किया है तो सब कुछ किया है, ठीक है. दूसरी बात ये है कि कुछ चीज़ों के लिए डेटा कलेक्ट करके रखो. अब मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि हर पॉइंट में डेटा जाके लिख देना है, वो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. कोई भी जाएगा एग्जामिनेशन में, चाहे वो टॉपर क्यों ना हो जो सिलेक्ट हो चुका है. इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर एनीवन टू राइट डेटा फॉर ईच एंड एवरी पॉइंट. यू कैन नॉट डू दैट, बट यू हैव टू एड डेटा इन मोस्ट ऑफ द पॉइंट्स. फॉर एग्जाम्पल 5 पॉइंट लिख रहे हो तो 2 में डाल दो, ठीक है, 2 या 3 में डाल दो. 3 में नहीं आ रहा तो 2 में लिख दो, 1-2 में एग्जाम्पल लिख दो. द मेन पॉइंट इज दैट योर आंसर शुड नॉट साउंड generalized. It should look specific. It should have some sort of value addition. That is the main point. Fine. Now let us move on to the next question. Question number 4. What are the objectives and the aims of Pradhan Mantri Vishwakarma and Swamita scheme? अब इस क्वेश्चन की बात करते हैं. स्कीम ओरिएंटेड क्वेश्चन आया. Now a lot of students keep on asking me that what parameters should be considered while selecting a certain type of scheme in order to prepare for the examination. Now the thing is that I usually suggest 2 type of parameters. The first is that the scheme should align with your syllabus. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं है कि कुछ बहुत ही आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स स्कीम आ गई है. मान लो स्पेस मिनिस्ट्री ने कोई स्कीम निकाली, ठीक है, अब स्पेस मिनिस्ट्री नहीं है, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी है, ठीक है, तो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी ने कोई स्कीम निकाली, तो साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी की स्कीम आपके डिस्क्रिप्टिव के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होगी, बिकॉज इट इज नॉट समथिंग दैट इज देयर precisely as a part of your syllabus. ठीक है, अब मान लो फॉर एग्जाम्पल अ स्कीम इज देयर विद रिस्पेक्ट टू एग्रीकल्चर मिनिस्ट्री, फाइन, और मे बी बाय मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरमेंट, फाइन, अ सर्टेन टाइप ऑफ स्कीम इज लॉन्च. सो व्हाट यू कैन डू, सिंस द स्कीम is aligning with your syllabus, so you have to prepare it. The second parameter, now this is the first parameter, which is the syllabus. If it is aligning with your syllabus, then it becomes important. The second parameter is the impact factor. What do we mean by impact factor? The impact factor means that when a certain scheme is launched, it has a huge impact either in that certain sector or in the economy, or with respect to the society, that is with respect to women, or maybe with respect to the marginalized section of the society, the vulnerable section of the society. Such type of huge impact factor is there. तो जिन स्कीम्स का बड़ा इम्पैक्ट फैक्टर होता है और जो आपके सिलेबस से अलाइन करी, आपको उन्हीं को प्रिपेयर करना है. जो छोटी मोटी स्कीम गवर्नमेंट लॉन्च करती है जिनका बजट भी बहुत कम है, ठीक है, और बहुत ही आई वुड से छोटी स्कीम्स है, बहुत ही इतनी इंक्लूसिव भी नहीं है, इम्पैक्ट फैक्टर बहुत कम है, यू कैन आई वुड से यू कैन स्किप दो स्कीम्स for the descriptive paper, or if you want to stay at the safe side, you don't want to skip it. So what you can do, you can have some kind of minimum information with respect to the scheme. ज़्यादा डिटेल में जाने की जरूरत नहीं, बस पता होना चाहिए कि स्कीम किस बारे में है. फाइन, व्हाट इज द आइडिया बिहाइंड दैट स्कीम, ताकि अगर क्वेश्चन आ भी जाए तो ऐसा ना हो कि आप बिल्कुल ही छोड़ दो उस चीज को एंड यू आर टोटली अनकंफर्टेबल. दैट शुड नॉट हैपन. यू आर एबल टू जनरेट सम इंफॉर्मेशन, बट द मेन थिंग इज दैट इफ यू वांट टू रीड अ स्कीम इन अ डिटेल मैनर फॉर द डिस्क्रिप्टिव पेपर, then these two things have to be considered, the syllabus and the impact factor. And you can see PM विश्वकर्मा बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट स्कीम है, स्वामिता बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट स्कीम है. इन दोनों में से ऐसी एक भी स्कीम नहीं है जो बहुत ही ऐसे छोटी सी स्कीम हो. एंड जो इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, जिसका इम्पैक्ट फैक्टर कम है। और आप कोई भी एग्जाम ले लो, चाहे आरबीआई का एग्जाम लो या नाबार्ड का एग्जाम लो, दीज टू थिंग्स हैव टू बी कंसिडर्ड। फाइन। नाउ let us say if you do not know the answer to this question, then what you can do, you can safely skip it because you had to answer 4 out of 6 questions only। ठीक है, 4 में से 6 क्वेश्चन आंसर करने थे, तो आप आराम से इसे स्किप कर सकते हो and you could have answered some other question as a part of the descriptive paper। now let us see that how can we answer it, and इसको आंसर करना मुझे लगता है कि इसका स्ट्रक्चरिंग समझना ज़्यादा मुश्किल नहीं है, बिकॉज स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्डली बहुत ही आई वुड से दो चीजें पूछी है इसमें। द फर्स्ट इज ऑब्जेक्टिव एंड द सेकंड इज द एम। फाइन, द एम एंड द ऑब्जेक्टिव विद रिस्पेक्ट टू दिस स्कीम, अब दोनों का मतलब सेम ही है ऑलमोस्ट, बट द थिंग इज दैट यू द क्रक्स इज दैट बेसिकली यू हैड टू राइट द फीचर्स ऑफ दिस स्कीम, यू डोंट हैव टू टॉक अबाउट चैलेंजेस एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स। लेट अस से, अब देखो ठीक है, एक और चीज देखते हैं। लेट अस से द क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट आर द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ द पीएम विश्वकर्मा, बस इतना क्वेश्चन आता और ये 10 मार्कर का क्वेश्चन होता। ठीक है, अब 10 मार्कर के क्वेश्चन में अगर पूछा हुआ है व्हाट आर द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ द स्कीम, और आपको लग रहा है कि यार मुझे तो इतने ऑब्जेक्टिव या फीचर नहीं आते, मुझे नहीं पता इतने फीचर क्या है, मैं 2-3 फीचर जानता हूं और मुझे नहीं लगता कि मैं उसका वर्ड लिमिट पूरी कर पाऊंगा नहीं, तो देयर यू हैव टू एक्ट स्मार्ट। फाइन, इफ यू थिंक दैट यू वोंट बी एबल टू compensate for the word limit, then over there you can extend the information, you can stretch the information by writing other things। for example you can write the challenges of PM Vishwakarma। ठीक है, अगर किसी चीज को आपके फीचर्स पता है, so you can generate the challenges also। fine, for example lack of funds, ठीक है, lack of fund तो हर स्कीम में लिखा जा सकता है कि यार इस स्कीम में फंडिंग कम है तो फंडिंग बढ़ा दो, तो ये तो हर जगह लिखी जा सकती है। इस तरह तरीके से आप पॉइंट्स क्रिएट कर सकते हो सो दैट यू कैन राइट द चैलेंजेस एंड द सोल्यूशन आल्सो, बट यहाँ पर वो लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है क्योंकि क्वेश्चन 10 नंबर का है सिर्फ, और 10 नंबर में 2 स्कीम्स पूछी हुई है, स्वामिता के बारे में भी लिखना है, विश्वकर्मा के बारे में भी लिखना है। सो 10 नंबर में ये 2 चीजें कवर हो जाती है। अगर यही क्वेश्चन 15 नंबर का होता तो तब मैं आपको बोलता कि हाँ, now you don't have, maybe you don't have enough words to write under the features of these schemes, so you can of course choose to write the challenges also or maybe the solutions also with respect to the challenges, but in a very precise and accurate manner। ऐसा नहीं है कि बहुत ज़्यादा उसको explain कर रहे हैं, तो वो depend करता है कि question कितने marks का है। so based on that you decide that what type of content you have to write। so over here you have to be very precise, you cannot beat around the bush। तो सबसे पहले एक इंट्रोडक्शन लिख दो जहां पर आपने पीएम स्वामिता एंड विश्वकर्मा की छोटी सी हेडिंग दे दी। यू हैव रिटन दैट व्हाट दिस स्कीम इज ऑल अबाउट, दीज आर द की प्रोग्राम्स दैट एम टू एनहांस द लाइवलीहुड ऑफ the traditional artisans and ensuring property rights in rural India respectively। Fine, so you can write the primary objective of this scheme, then you can write a detail objective or the detail features कि यार क्या क्या चीजें आती हैं इसमें। so the objective is to empower the traditional artisans, then it provides the financial support to artisans, then skill development, cultural heritage, expanding market access। Similarly for the Swamita also, that establishing property right in rural areas, reducing land disputes, enabling access to credit, strengthening rural governance, and use of modern technology, because we know that Swamita scheme uses drones also, fine, for the survey, so that is also can be written as a part of it। and at the end what you can do, you could have written the conclusion over there। and if you have followed the EduTap sources, then we have covered this as a part of our Scheme Tab magazine and July and August, and we have covered it in a very precise manner। Fine, so that is the idea, that is how you what is your learning from this question? The learning is that how to select the scheme। I've told you 2 type of parameters. The first is basically to see the syllabus, whether it is aligning with the syllabus or not, and the second is the impact factor। and the next thing that we have learned, that try to answer the question in a precise manner, write the information in the question based on the word limit that is asked in the question। Fine, so this question is for 10 marker also, 400 word का question है, तो 200 word स्वामिता के लिए and 200 word PM विश्वकर्मा के लिए। I hope it is clear to you। Now moving on to question number 5, write a short note on dry land farming। अब बहुत ही छोटा क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया है, 10 नंबर का क्वेश्चन है, राइट अ शॉर्ट नोट ऑन ड्राई लैंड फार्मिंग। अब सबसे पहले इस क्वेश्चन को कैटेगराइज करते हैं कि इजी है, मॉडरेट है, डिफिकल्ट है। मैं बोलूंगा ये बिल्कुल इजी क्वेश्चन था। व्हाई इज इट सो? क्वेश्चन सबसे पहली बात है बहुत ही जनरल है, कुछ आपसे ऐसा नहीं पूछा कि यार प्रॉब्लम बताओ ड्राई लैंड फार्मिंग की या फिर फीचर बताओ, ऐसी कोई चीज नहीं बोली है। सो यू हैड अ ह्यूज स्कोप दैट हाउ यू वांट टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन, हाउ यू वांट टू डिलीवर द इन्फॉर्मेशन एज अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन। फाइन, और 10 मार्क का क्वेश्चन है तो ज्यादा लिखना भी नहीं है, ठीक है, 400 वर्ड के अंदर अंदर आपको इसको खत्म कर देना है। एंड व्हाई आई एम कैटेगराइजिंग इट अगेन as easy or moderate level question, because it is written as a part of the syllabus। Fine, so you can see in the syllabus it is very precisely mentioned, प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ ड्राई लैंड एग्रीकल्चर। अब अगेन सेम रूल, सिलेबस कवर किया है तो आपको एग्जाम में कभी प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी। फाइन, यू विल ऑलवेज बी इन अ कंफर्टेबल पोजीशन टू आंसर द क्वेश्चंस इन द डिस्क्रिप्टिव पेपर, एंड यू कैन सी in all the questions that we have seen above, question number 1 to 4, I would say in question 1 and 3 syllabus was very relevant. In question number 2 also syllabus was relevant, but along with that the previous year question was also relevant because the question of financial inclusion was asked in 2023 also. ठीक है, और स्कीम में मैंने आपको बता दिया सिलेबस की क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है, और ये क्वेश्चन भी आप देख लो, इट इज वेरी मच लिंक टू द सिलेबस, सो आई एम रिपीटिंग इट अगेन एंड अगेन बिकॉज आई डोंट वांट यू टू इग्नोर द सिलेबस, आई डोंट वांट यू टू अंडर एस्टिमेट द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ द सिलेबस. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट as far as the examination is concerned. Now write a short note on dry land farming. तो यहाँ पे आप क्या करोगे, सबसे पहले ऑफ कोर्स यू विल हैव टू राइट दैट व्हाट इज ड्राई लैंड फार्मिंग, और क्योंकि अगर आपने प्रॉब्लम्स ऑफ ड्राई लैंड एग्रीकल्चर पढ़ा होगा तो आपको पता होगा कि ड्राई लैंड के क्या फीचर्स होते हैं, कि मिनिमम रेनफॉल कितनी होती है, ड्राई लैंड में मिट्टी कैसी होती है, सॉइल कैसी होती है, फाइन, सो द क्लाइमेट, द सॉइल, द टेम्परेचर, फाइन, एंड व्हाट टाइप ऑफ रीजन इट इज फाउंड. फिर आप क्या लिख सकते हो, सोच के देखो, यू कैन टॉक अबाउट द प्लांट्स ऑल्सो, द टाइप ऑफ प्लांट दैट आर ग्रोन इन द ड्राई लैंड फार्मिंग रीजन. सो 4-5 पॉइंट तो ऐसे ही बन गए. तो अगर आपने थोड़ा भी पढ़ा था, you could have written this answer in a, I would say, in a good format in order to satisfy the word limit. और उसके बाद आप क्या कर सकते हो, अब आप देखो, अगर आप सिर्फ फीचर लिखोगे मैक्सिमम, जैसे मुझे 4 से 5 पॉइंट दिमाग में है, ठीक है, सो आपको भी 4 से 5 पॉइंट ही आएंगे या मैक्सिमम 6 पॉइंट आ जाएंगे क्योंकि आप पढ़ के जाओगे, तो यू विल बी एबल टू राइट 6 पॉइंट्स. बट क्या पता आप 6 पॉइंट लिखो और आपका 400 वर्ड का जो टारगेट है वो टच ना हो, यू आर नॉट एबल टू you are not able to touch the word limit. So in order to compensate that, what you can do, you have two options. First of all, you can talk about the challenges of dry land farming, कि यार ड्राई लैंड फार्मिंग में क्या चैलेंज है, इरिगेशन के चैलेंज है, ठीक है, सस्टेनेबिलिटी के चैलेंज है, ठीक है, इनकम के चैलेंज है, फार्मर्स इनकम गेट्स हैम्पर्ड, सच टाइप ऑफ पॉइंट्स यू कैन जनरेट, डिफरेंट एन नंबर ऑफ पॉइंट्स आर देयर. तो आप वो लिख सकते हो अपना कंटेंट बढ़ाने के लिए, या फिर आप क्या लिख सकते हो, आप लिख सकते हो द टेक्नोलॉजीज दैट आर यूज्ड इन द ड्राई लैंड फार्मिंग, फॉर एग्जांपल मिनिमम एग्रीकल्चर, फाइन, द सॉरी मिनिमम एग्रीकल्चर नहीं, मिनिमल irrigation, for example the precision irrigation that is there, find precision farming that is there, drip irrigation that is there, you can talk about those things also, the type of technologies that are used. So it is all up to you that what type of information you carry and what type of information that you prioritize to write as a part of this answer. कोई information सही या गलत नहीं होगी, मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव ये है कि आपको शॉर्ट नोट लिखना है ड्राई लैंड फार्मिंग के ऊपर, बट हाँ फीचर्स लिखना इंपॉर्टेंट है, फीचर इज समथिंग दैट यू कैन नॉट मिस. आफ्टर दैट ईदर यू कैन राइट द चैलेंजेस एंड सोल्यूशन और यू कैन राइट द टेक्नोलॉजीज दैट आर यूज्ड एज अ पार्ट ऑफ ड्राई लैंड फार्मिंग. तो उससे आराम से आप 400 वर्ड्स टच कर जाओगे. फाइन, so I hope it is clear to you. Now let us see the answer. So as I told you, first of all what you have to do, you have to write some introduction that dry land farming क्या होती है, what is dry land farming. Then you can talk about the features with respect to dry land farming, that is the dependence on rainfall, the use of drought resistant crops is very common, then the soil and water conservation techniques, then the mixed cropping and crop rotation is there. Find all such type of things are there. Then what are the challenges in the dry land farming? Find that it is low, it provides low and uncertain yields, vulnerability to climate change, soil degradation is there, and how we can improve it. Fine, for example with the help of water resistant techniques, drought resistant varieties ka promotion karna, then crop insurance. Fine, in a very precise format you can write it, and that's how you can complete your answer. And I have already told you the approach, that how to reach the word limit if you have the limited content with respect to the demand of the question. Fine, I hope it is clear to you. Now this question is easy. क्यों इजी कैटेगराइज किया मैंने, क्योंकि डायरेक्टली सिलेबस में से पूछा है, और मैं सिलेबस से पूछी हुई चीज़ को बिल्कुल भी डिफिकल्ट कैटेगराइज नहीं करूंगा, बिकॉज प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दैट इट इज़ अ कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम. आप एक नेशनल लेवल कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम में बैठ रहे हो और आप एक सिंसियर एस्पिरेंट हो और आपने उसका सिलेबस ही कंप्लीट नहीं किया, तो सोचिए कितनी बड़ी गलती हो सकती है. तो सिलेबस तो कंप्लीट करना पहली प्रायोरिटी होती है, उसके बाद ही करंट अफेयर और बाकी चीज़ें आती है. तो ये तो मिनिमम चीज़ है जो करनी है, और आई वुड से द बेस्ट थिंग इज दैट फॉर नाबार्ड आई वुड से मिनिमम इज ऑलमोस्ट सफिशिएंट. तो 6 में से 4 क्वेश्चन करने होते हैं, और इजीली अगर आपने सिलेबस कंप्लीट किया है वर्ड टू वर्ड अच्छे से, तो आप उस टॉपिक को, उस क्वेश्चन को आंसर कर सकते हो, एंड आप यू कैन स्कोर गुड मार्क्स विद रिस्पेक्ट टू डिस्क्रिप्टिव पेपर, एंड दैट्स वेयर आई वुड से यू गेट अ कॉम्पिटिटिव एज. And at the end what you can do, you can write the conclusion also. Now let us move on to the last question, that is question number 6. अब sorry to say but इस question को भी मैं easy to moderate में डालूंगा. क्यों? क्योंकि question पढ़ लो सबसे पहले. How does India's storage system contribute to country's agriculture and food security? और question आप देख लो डायरेक्ट सिलेबस में से है. Let us see the syllabus. You can see the screenshot over here. Controlled and modified storage, perishable food storage. the question has straightforwardly asked from the syllabus. So I would say कि ऐसा मत सोचना कि मैं जानबूझ के चीज़ों को इजी दिखाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, बिकॉज चीज़ अगर क्वेश्चन डायरेक्टली सिलेबस में से आ रहा है, सो वाई टू कैटेगराइज इट डिफिकल्ट. द पॉइंट इज दैट आई डोंट थिंक दैट देयर वाज a single question that was out of box or that was difficult as a part of this NABARD paper. Fine. So that is, I would say, is one of the conclusions or the key takeaways that you can carry. Then how we can answer this question, of course, first of all you are going to write about India storage system, और ये content आपके पास होना चाहिए because perishable food storage और ये controlled and modified storage ये आपके syllabus का part है. तो आपके पास इससे related content होना चाहिए कुछ introduction के लिए कि यार मैं storage को के बारे में क्या लिखूंगा, मेरे पास कुछ तो data होना चाहिए कि यार इंडिया में food grain कितना store होता है. Fine. And you can talk about some sort of scheme also. You should know about that because this is something that is the minimum content that you need to know with respect to any keyword with respect to the syllabus. Then you can talk about, I would say, the introduction. Then you can talk about the role of India's storage system in food security, where you can write about the preservation of foods, of grains, then the buffer stock management, then about the public distribution system. Fine. Then all these things you can write. Then you can talk about the challenges of India's storage system, and then after that you can write the conclusion as a part of the conclusion you can talk about the way forward also. Fine. So you can see I pasted a screenshot. I forgot to remove it from this answer, but the thing is that this question was also covered by EduTap. Now, I hope it is clear to you. Now, as I told you that the intent behind this session is not to provide you knowledge that what is a horticulture, what is storage system, also sort of thing. The only intent is basically how you can structure the information, what is the difficulty level of the question, and what is the source of the question. Fine. So that is something that I think we have covered in a precise manner and in a holistic manner. And if you will download the document, you will get this topic-wide distribution of questions also. For example, how many questions have been asked from these different topics in 2024 and in 2023 also. So that's how you will be able to know that what are the key or the important areas. Then after that we have this, I would say, topic wide difficulty level also. This box is also there, and then we have the key takeaways. Then by the way, these key takeaways I've already told you as a part of it. If you're somebody who is preparing for this exam through self-study, then you can follow these sources also. Fine, as a part of it. And if you're somebody who does not want to go for self-study, maybe you do not have time, maybe you do not have guidance, because the thing is that if you will read multiple sources, the information is very much scattered. So it is very important that you have proper guidance so that you can proceed in order to cover the syllabus in a holistic.
So students, with this we have come to an end of our today's session. I hope it was helpful and insightful for you. Now students, if you are interested in having the paid mentorship for your NABARD grade examination, then you can enroll yourself into our NABARD grade phase 2 live plus recorded crash course. As part of this crash course, we are going to provide you the live classes, recorded classes, solve previous year question, chapter wise test, descriptive model question and answers, descriptive fodder material, and the full length mock test. Apart from that students, there is a NABARD grade phase 2 test series also, and as part of this test series we are going to provide you the PYQs, chapter wise mock test, current affair mock test, and the full length mock test. So these are the deliverables currently available on our website. If you are interested, you can enroll, and this is the good time to visit our website because currently as part of New Year celebration we are offering you a flat 77% off on all our NABARD grade courses. You can use the code New Year 77 and you can enroll yourself into these courses. On that note, I'm ending this session here. Thank you so much and I wish you all the very best.